20-minute problem-solving show here. Josh Tovar, problem principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA. Ready to rock and roll and learning. Look at all this talent. Look at all this talent from top to bottom, east to west, north to south, all these educators right here. So we need you. If you're watching this right now, we want your opinion, your 2 cents. If you're watching this on the rebroadcast, please like it and share it because we all need to learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. Take it away, Dean Packard.
Hey, Josh Tovar, nice job. It seems like I just saw you last night, less than 24 hours ago, man. We were at the table once again doing these amazing things we do at Unlock the Middle. We are very pleased to have the group we have with us tonight, and we are going to get right into some action. Josh, take it back. Let's go. Let's have some fun. What's on the agenda?
All right. Real quick, before we get our first quick question, quick introductions, starting off with Dean Packard.
Dean Packard, principal, almost Charlton Middle School, Bay Path Regional Vocational Technical High School. That was a slip for 30 years in another district.
Oh,
Can't believe I did that.
ISS, in-school suspension.
In-school. I need some restorative practice before I go to suspension. Nevertheless,
Jessica.
Great to be here. Next. What? Next?
Elementary principal from Killeen ISD at Willow Springs Elementary, Jessica Hicks.
Melissa Harvey, middle school principal at Bobby Summers Middle School in Fayette, Texas, Royce City ISD.
David.
Dave Waxman, principal, Martin J. Ryerson Middle School in Ringwood, New Jersey.
Drew.
Drew Graver, assistant principal at Cherubusco Elementary School in Northern Indiana.
Mike.
Hey guys, Mike Gaskell, principal and author, Central Elementary School. And of course, I write articles monthly. Great to be here.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Real quick. Starting off with Melissa, since she had the lucky number. Melissa, what non-traditional Thanksgiving food did you have last week?
Tamales.
Drew.
Barbecue nachos, whole pork nachos.
Okay. Mike.
I had, turkey. I had sweet potatoes. I had
Non-traditional, sir. Non-traditional.
Non-traditional buffalo sauce.
Okay. Jessica.
I think I only ate traditional.
There's nothing wrong. That's fine. Dean Packard.
Burrito, baby. Something different.
And Mr. David.
I don't know. We only went traditional, but I don't know. For breakfast, a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich.
That's still traditional, sir. That's still traditional. All right, here we go. What, Melissa, what Netflix or Hulu series are you seeing that no one has watched?
Everybody's watching what I'm watching. I watched The Golden Bachelor.
Never heard of it. Gotcha. Drew.
Watching House of Cards right now.
Oh, there we go. Mike.
My most recent thing I've been watching, let me see, For All Mankind on Apple TV.
Never heard of it. Thank you for sharing. Jessica.
Absolutely.
I just finished Suits.
Suits. Never seen it. Dean
Oh, you
Packard.
gotta watch it.
Oh, put him in his place. I love it. Breaking Bad. Once again, I love that.
And David.
I just finished Bye Bye Barry, a documentary on Barry Sanders.
Oh, love it. All right,
Amazon.
America.
Amazing.
Here goes a real world scenario. Dean Packard made this come to life. So we're going to put it out there. Hey, administrator in Iowa. Hey, administrator in North Dakota. What would you do? I'm about to read it to everybody. Female student tells parents a male student has been pushing her to get on the bus before her in the morning. No report was ever made to the bus driver, teacher, or administrators. Parents show up to the bus stop to drop off the girl. And when the bus shows up, an argument ensues. From video evidence, the male student gets on the bus and then returns to the entrance and yells, "I'll shoot you. Don't ever talk to me like that. I'll kill you." Parents are heard yelling they can handle this right now and tell the student that they will be at the school. While on the bus, the male student states he better not see the student at school, and he's heard calling others, giving descriptions of the parents and vehicle. Parents of the female student arrive to campus to report the situation, and the male student sees the parents and throws his hands on the air. Dad tries to leave the office to approach the student before an administrator intervenes. Male student states that he got upset because the mom pushed him, and the dad of the female stated he would beat up the male student. He also stated that the female student's dad told him to call his dad so he would whoop him his tail too. There were no other witnesses to this part of the interaction. Male student also states that the female student doesn't even belong to his bus stop and questions why somebody has to drive her to the bus stop and pick her up every day. When dad of the male student is called, he shows up to the front office and begins to cause a scene, asking what the school is going to do about the parent threatening him and his son. Dad is told that the investigation is currently being conducted and they would inform him when it is complete. Not liking the response, the dad states that he will be armed at the bus stop the next day to handle it himself. Melissa, what would you do?
So we take anything with a gun, any hint of a gun, pretty serious, just with the recent threats on education. And so we have a police officer visit the house, see if a child has access to guns. We make sure that there is zero threat because it may just be emotion, but sometimes it may not. We want to make sure that there is zero threat for us. We would also trespass the dad from the bus stop just to make sure that all students are safe at that bus stop. And then we would continue the investigation, and then we would make sure that both adults understood how to move forward and how we would ensure both kids' safety in school.
Thank you. Drew?
Yeah, exactly what Melissa shared. You got to be able to follow your risk assessments, whatever's in play, of what your school system has come together. If parents are openly threatening to bring weapons to the bus stop, you need to proceed with caution. One of the things I would extend to is reaching out to a school resource officer or whoever is your liaison for the police department, getting them involved. Because anytime a parent says they're going to come armed to a place where there's going to be children, it's going to be a problem. So there's a part of that entity that you need to work with, working with the director of transportation, making sure, whatever sort of bus stops are going to be made, that they have security on them. It might be worth having an SRO or a police officer on that if they're going to be traveling on that bus route. But I think the intermediate mix is to make sure that we work with police department to work with those parents. Essentially, we've got to get down to the bottom of what's actually going on. So investigating, doing your due diligence, hearing both sides of the story, but making sure that communication's two-way with parents. So parents feel like they're being heard, but then also as a school, you got to do your due diligence and making sure you get to the bottom of what happened. So,
Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Police notification immediately, liaison work with your SRO. And I liked what was just said about the communication with families. You're going to have a lot of nervous families here. We live in a world where this happens too frequently. So we have to have statements semi-prepared for this. And those statements should read along the lines of, we are taking every precaution necessary and are keeping children safe. And we will keep you informed as we get information, more or less. And then, of course, add the facts.
Jessica?
And then once you do all of that, you start your investigation, you complete that with the police and everything else. Of course, you would look into the disciplinary action with the first student. And then also you would look into the residency of the child that is questionable, whether or not they should be riding the bus. That's how I would wrap it all up in a nice little bow.
Dean Packard?
You guys don't leave much for this this rookie administrator, but I would say number one thing is just kind of stay calm, scope out the area, make sure that you can get, recognize all parties that are involved. More importantly, make sure you separate everybody as quickly as you can, and make sure you do not have a place for investigations that are going on that are going to have parties coming next to each other, especially if the temperature in the room is pretty high. Again, take your time. Make sure you're talking to the bus drivers to know that if they see somebody coming to a bus stop in the morning the next day, to reach out to us directly, resource officer involved, and just just go through the investigative process. And quite frankly, you know what? If there are guns involved, the police will take action, and we have our responsibility to ensure that we make sure that they don't have access to arms, as it was said earlier. So, slow and steady, and work through it, then follow through all parties.
David.
Yeah, I mean, you guys didn't really leave me too much, but one thing that really I'm thinking about is, you know, when everything's coming to the school, am I going to have to do some kind of security protocol, like a shelter in place or something, if I've got angry parents screaming around in the building or something like that? And like a lot of you touched upon SRO, get the SRO involved. Do I need to do it? Get my get the male student who made the threat on the bus, if I can intercept him right away, and maybe have him go to child study team, do a risk assessment, you know, see if he needs to be sent out for, you know, for or do a screening, see if he needs to be sent out for further risk assessment. Again, like I'm just, you know, like you guys all said, safety, right? Safety number one, and just make sure, like Dean said, you know, make sure parties aren't coming intertwined or intermingled, you know, and do what's best for the students involved, and really do your due diligence.
So we all know that when we face this situation, we have a chain of command. What do you do in your area where all different parts of the country, different even within Texas, different ISDs have different protocols? What are you coached in, Melissa, whenever something like this happens in regards to letting the chain of command know?
So immediately, I think someone here said is I text my admin team to come straight to me, and then we have a director of security. And so I text him, and he makes sure I'm thinking on the right wavelength, only because if I'm brand new, I don't know what to do, right? And so we all have a picture of the young man, or just so we can intercept him at the bus. We're the first person he sees. Like someone said, we take him to student services. We do a risk assessment, and then that way he encounters no one else.
David?
Yeah, I mean, here in New Jersey, you know, I'm a principal of a middle school. Obviously we've taken, you know, at this point, we've taken all points, like police. I'm calling my superintendent as soon as I call the police at any point. You know, that's really the first person I call after I call the police right away. That's really the protocol in my district. You know, and then, you know, we get others involved, and that, police might have to get the prosecutor's office involved and things, but, you know, that's really the chain of command for me where I am.
Dean Peckard.
You know, right out of the gate, and I'm glad you said that a moment ago about letting your superintendent know what's going on, administrative team, student support team, whatever we need to do. But I think the bigger thing also here is if we need to get notification out to the direct public of what's going on. I love the part you said about having a canned response ready. 100%. We sit around at administrative meetings and thinking about all the bad things that can happen and how we can have a paragraph ready to go in a moment's notice. Again, we're measured on transparency across the board in a full capacity. So we want to make sure we hit that. We hit that at all levels.
Jessica.
In my district, one call does it all. So I just contact the head of security, and he will go ahead and send mass information out to the SROs, the chief of police, everybody, including superintendent, area directors, things of that nature. Since the district's so big, that also includes the head of communications. At the same time, the communication director is making that magic response, boom. So that's already being sent out. Everything's done while I am working on that immediate response, that immediate handling the situation, that response, keeping people updated as needed as things are taking place. It's the fastest way we can get the communication out and the most accurate. And then we do like an after action. After all is said and done, okay, how could we have done this better? Is there anything else we need to do?
Yep. Debriefing, everything. Yep.
Awesome, Jessica. I love that. Mike.
Yeah, we have a similar format. We have something called 911 Inform, and it's great because it's right on my phone. I hit the app or a text. It works both ways. It immediately notifies instantly all of central office, our security.
We lost you, big guy. Pull over. Drew.
I think you got me.
Well,
Yeah. You want to finish it? Finish it. Finish it.
You me?
Okay, Drew.
well,
Oh, go ahead.
just kind of highlight what everyone else said. Everyone's going to have different protocols. You know, you got an incident of command where you're notifying administrative teams. Teams are letting other teams for risk assessments go on. I work in a small district, a K-12 building, so we have a threat assessment team that's trained to work with kids, work with staff and students. I would say one of the biggest things that hasn't been talked about yet is the post-vention planning, about how we're going to plan, you know, a week out from this, a month out from this, because it can be pretty traumatic for kids to hear this, for the community. So making sure we're very intentional with our post-vention planning, moving on out and doing that as a team and as a district.
So very cool. And in closing the last part of the show, please send out some advice for either a first year teacher, doesn't have to be, choose one, a first year teacher, first year AP, first year principal, and someone you like to shout out for motivating you. Melissa.
So my admin team would tell you that my advice is that we laugh every day. No matter what is going on, we're going to find something to laugh at. And that goes for all teacher, AP, or principal. We're going to laugh every single day. And my shout out would go to Kevin Worthy. He's our superintendent that is retiring tonight. And what he did is, we are a 6A school district, which is the biggest in Texas that you can be. But he treated us as a small town. He knew everyone's name and hugged everyone's neck all the time. And I love him.
Love it. Mike.
Hey, I think I'm back, right?
Yes.
Yep. Sorry about that earlier. So my pick is a new principal, because I've been a teacher, I've been a vice principal, and everybody told me being a principal is way bigger of a job than you'll ever know. And I never really knew it until I became a principal. And it is a much bigger job, unimaginably. You have everything to take care of, and I think that's the biggest message I give is be careful. It's a giant job, and it's all encompassing, and you just need to not know you're not going to be ready for it, but just lean on people to help you through it. So that would be that. And then my shout out is to Jenna Klein. She's my teacher of the year, and she is well deserving, because she loves disadvantaged children and helping every child succeed. And that's the kind of teacher I want in my building.
Beautiful. David.
For me, my advice is for a first year principal or even vice principal, always assume integrity. People are good. They really are. And, you hope and you just assume that people are doing their best and trying to do their best. And for me, I'm a principal in my 7th year. And for the first time, I have a vice principal working along with me. And I'm just trying to be the leader for him that I would have wanted in my first year as a VP. So, that's really my advice for a first-time leader.
Shout out.
Oh, my shout out. So my shout outs to Jeff Prickett, who is all over the circles. He's written a book. I was a guest on his podcast a year or two ago, and I was so fortunate. We formed a kind of a friendship. He took some time. I was going through a tough time in my career professionally, and he took time and we did a Zoom call, and he gave me advice. If you think it, do it. And at that time, I was thinking about making a career leap to another place. And he said, if you think it, do it. I did it. I took a leap of faith. I went from one great place to another great place, but different opportunity. And I thank Jeff Prickett out there.
Woo, Drew.
All right. Best advice I would say to an assistant principal or a new principal. Best advice I got from a previous principal named Randy Polston: pick up the phone. If you ever need help and you don't know how to handle certain things, to try and wing it on your own is never a good idea. Always rely on those who are knowledgeable, that are willing to help you. So picking up that phone and calling that person, whether it be your superintendent, another administrator in that district, it's always a good thing to do. Even 10 years down the road, I know there's a lot of experienced principals who will still pick up that phone and call for help, call for wisdom, advice. Shout out wise, I'd like to give a shout out to Ross Braun, previous elementary principal in Indiana, now turned consultant. He works for a variety of different organizations right now, but won the elementary principal of the year for IASP. Just super positive leader. Love following him on Twitter, on social media. Just a great guy who it's all about leaders bringing the positivity for their kids, their staff, and the community. So.
Beautiful. Jessica.
Okay, well, my recommendation would be for any new administrator, whether it be AP or principal, would be just keep that network open and continue to add. You never know when your circles will overlap. I'm feeling it right now because my circles are overlapping. So my shout out is to my Garland peeps at Herforth Elementary, Leanne Martinez and Tina Lawrence at the Herforth just got their blue ribbon. I'm so proud of them. They're hard workers.
Awesome. Dean Packard.
Hey, thanks for letting me be last on this one here. So mine would be to a new principal. After all these years sitting in a saddle, what I would say to a new principal is enjoy the ride and don't take yourself too seriously. Because if you let yourself down, so you can be just be you, and it'll make the whole process be better. My shout out would be to my IT director, TJ Karen, who sent me a text right before I went on here tonight and told me to go home, that I've been here too long. The guy is a rock star. He does everything that every principal would dream that you would want to have in an IT specialist. Just a rock star.
Beautiful. And I'd like to thank everybody for being here in office hours, but it's not over. It's not over. Dean Packard, this Sunday, the flagship show. What time, Dean Packard?
This 7 o'clock. Thanks for asking. You're
Thank
always
you very
checking.
much. 7 o'clock. Alana Winnick will be here discussing her book. And next Wednesday, what time, Dean Packard?
That must be 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
9 p.m.
The
Eastern
Red
Standard
Zone,
Time.
the Red Zone AI 101 for administrators. And we're finishing off the year 2023 with Joe Sanfilippo. Great job, Dean, getting him on the show. Great job. Let's go home.
Let's go. Hey, thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. You guys are rock stars. Remember, have a great day in school tomorrow because your staff, your kids, and your community needs you. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.